This is Jillian Haslam today. She is lucky to be alive and spends every spare moment motivating people with her speeches or through her charity work. Wherever she goes, she touches the hearts of people. You can't help but admire and be inspired by her. She has shown how perseverance and determination not only gets you through impossible situations in life, but can also make your life a success. After you read Jillian's story, you will have no excuse to give up on life or on your own future. Jillian was born in the city of Calcutta in 1970 as one of 12 siblings, 4 of whom would die of malnutrition and poverty during infancy. Jillian was born to English parents who remained in India after India got her independence in 1947. Her father, a captain in the British Army, had decided to stay in India, and their family became part of a unique hybrid nationality called the Indian English. Their heritage, coloring, and religion put a target on their foreheads. Due to her father's illness, bad luck, and resentment from the community, Jillian and her family grew up in abject poverty. They were homeless and penniless in one of the poorest areas on the subcontinent. They were forced to live behind people's houses and take shelter under doorways during savage rainstorms. They lived cheek and jowl with the rodent population. Her heartbreaking memoirs, Indian English, chronicles her survival through the young and difficult years in Calcutta to her successful days of today. As a young child, she watched her brother and sister die. At the age of 5, she believed everybody went to heaven in a tea chest, which was the only thing the Haslam family had to bury their young in at the time due to their abject poverty. Jillian and her younger sister, Vanessa, used to beg for bits of gristle from the foodmongers who cooked on braziers on street corners, often suffering hot oil being thrown on their young skin, before the streetmonger would give them the inedible food nobody else would eat, in the hope that they would just move on. Jillian's older sister, Donna, was part of a kidnapping plot that led the family to disappear in the night, leaving behind the few belongings they had amassed. Through a fearful, pitch-black night they escaped, finally ending up in Calcutta railway station during rush hour, with Vanessa and herself nearly being trampled to death, and Donna being openly molested by passing men. Their parents got them to the station where there was no more her father could bear, and he had a stroke. Without the help from the Salvation Army, he surely would have died. This left the family living on a plastic sheet under this flight of stairs in a community cleaning area infested with rats and cockroaches. A few feet away, people used a dirty water pump to bathe, to wash clothes, and unashamedly use as public toilet. They literally were living in sewage. Conditions were so bad that her mother had to ask an elderly stranger to take care of the 2 girls, Jillian and Vanessa. Little did her mother know, this woman would habitually beat Jillian and lock her in a dark, cockroach-infested, disease-ridden toilet. Life with Mrs. Cleophas was hell on earth, and one of the joyous moments in Jillian's book is when the girls finally left Mrs. Cleophas and found total joy in being homeless and penniless once more, and then going back to live under the steps. Many, many people helped Jillian and her sisters survive, and she has nothing but total love and gratitude for these people. One case in particular is very moving. The Haslams have a new baby girl, Susan, who was brought from the hospital to die at home. By this time, Jillian's father has recovered and found a small job, and they've moved off the streets into a one-room, overpriced hovel in a back of a street slum where approximately 3,000 people shared 3 toilets. However, they still couldn't afford the medicine that could help Susan survive. Jillian is now nearly 8 years old and has survived so much that she is determined that her sister lives. She therefore sets about winning the heart of a man in a nearby tea shop. It is a very poor tea shop, and the owner is himself on the poverty line. But Jillian persuades him to provide free milk, and over time, Jillian nurses against all odds her sister back to health. These true life stories cannot fail to make one humble. But that is not Jillian's only goal. She wants these stories to make people realize that they can survive anything life throws at them. Jillian is now a successful international motivational speaker, and she wants the whole world to be inspired by her story of survival and to fight to make a success of their own lives despite all odds. This was the reason Jillian wrote her memoirs. Her memoirs are now being made into a full-length feature film. Throughout her journey, we meet the ghosts of her past as she touches different lives on the way and is dragged in different directions. This emotional film brings Jillian and her achievements to life, will inspire any audience, and ensure that they leave believing that perseverance and persistence will always bring results. Jillian already has a huge following from around the world. Her speeches at schools, universities, and convents inspire children from all walks of life, and they write to her every day.